When we're feeling happy, excited, and optimistic, it's great. But when the emotions dominating our thoughts are negative, it can be really grim, especially when all that darkness seems random. Jackie Denker looks at how our brains control our emotions and how to handle that gray matter so we can stay cool, calm, and collected. That's our featured story at the top of the list.
Emotions! They can really take over sometimes, which can be a little overwhelming, but
they are so important for us to be able to cope and adapt and learn and understand things in our environment.
So to learn the brain science behind these emotions and how to successfully manage them, we turned to pediatric neuropsychologist Dr. Sarah Levin-Allen. Let's start by breaking down emotions and why they are important.
Emotions are designed to help you figure out what to go towards and what to go away from. So things like fear are really important because that tells us that we need to be away from that thing, that we don't want to go near it.
Emotions like happiness or excitement, on the other hand,
that's going to give us a boost of a chemical named dopamine to the front of our brain, and it's going to make us feel good and want to go towards that or do that again.
Now let's get a little lesson on our brains to understand our emotions even better.
So I like to personify parts of the brain. So Amy G is the amygdala of our brain. She's the emotion center of our brain, and she's responsible for feeling in general, very loud and very openly. Then we have Franny, who is the frontal lobe of our brain, and Franny is responsible for any regulation and control over our brain, specifically in this topic to emotions.
Dr. Sarah says there's always a balance between Amy G and Franny.
I picture Amy G like a puffer fish. She puffs up and gets very angry at any little thing.
And that's where Franny comes in.
She needs to calm Amy G down.
So with that in mind, when emotions arise, it's okay to feel them, but we need to learn to control them. To do this, we need insight into why we are feeling the way we are.
If we understand why we feel something and we know our triggers, we're going to be able to let Franny know, and then Franny can help to regulate Amy G.
And it can take a bit of work to get to know our triggers.
You can use therapy for this. You can use talking to a friend or a partner about these emotions that you're feeling.
The more you practice recognizing what causes our flare-ups,
that's going to help you improve that response down the road.
Finally, once we can identify our triggers, we can reframe our thoughts.
Which is changing your thought patterns to be thinking in a different way, which is then going to calm down your Amy G.
For example, if you have insight in knowing that you get angry when someone cuts you off on the road,
you can then reframe some of those thoughts and realize, if I'm a few minutes late, better to be late than to get into an accident. So I'm going to slow down here and I'm going to calm my Amy G so that I can get to the location safely versus on time.
Learning about our brains so we can rein in our emotions is at the top of the list.